Okay, Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. We are students from UMT and today we are conducting an interview for our entrepreneurship assignment titled Interview of an Entrepreneur. Our purpose is to understand the real life experiences, mindset, challenges, and success journey of an entrepreneur through direct interaction. We are very happy to have Maria Mahmood with us today. Before we begin the questions, could you please introduce yourself and tell us a little about your business?
Of course, my name is Mariam. I run Mizea, which is a dessert creative catering business. I run this as a partnership with one of my really close friends. So we basically specialise in doing dessert table setups for events across Scotland and the UK, including live catering services. So yeah, that's basically our business. It's very dessert focused, and we cover events such as birthdays, weddings, parties, corporate events. So we're kind of traveling all over the UK to cater for different events.
Okay, that's good. So I'll start by asking about your personal journey and motivation. What inspired you to start your business or become an entrepreneur?
So I think I've always wanted to start a business from a very young age. I never knew exactly what I wanted to start, but I've always had people in my family, people around me growing up who had their own businesses, so I think that definitely influenced me to want to start something of my own. And yeah, I think that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to start a business.
I see. And how did you come up with your business idea?
So I've always had an interest in desserts and just creating different things. I've always had quite a big imagination. And my partner, who I do the business with, she actually had a background in dessert making. So we kind of put two and two together. She focused on more the dessert side. I was very much creative. I love doing social media, creating content and things. So we kind of merged the two together and started a creative catering business.
That sounds very interesting. Now, other questions Sana will be asking.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Sanat Kate. I want to ask questions regarding traits and skill of an entrepreneur.
Was that the skills of an entrepreneur, sorry?
What key personal traits and skills do you think every entrepreneur should have?
So I think confidence is definitely a big one. I think if you're confident within yourself and with how you speak to people, it can really help your business. Being organised, being punctual, definitely being motivated, just having a good attitude about you. I think that's definitely important, especially in my line of business, because I'm meeting new people all the time. I'm speaking to new people. It's very important to be approachable, and it just builds trust between clients and things as well. So I think definitely having a good attitude, being organised, having all those skills as well, definitely helps with business growth.
Okay, thank you. How do you handle risk and uncertainty in your business decisions?
So handling risk, I think the way we've done it is usually if we're unsure about something or we think something's a little bit risky, we'll always outweigh the pros and cons. So we usually make a list to see what would work well in the situation, what wouldn't work well, and we kind of just balance it out that way. I think it's very important to take risks in business, even if you're unsure, but obviously if it's well thought through. But definitely we'll weigh out the pros and cons, balance it out and see if the risk is worth taking.
How do you stay motivated during your tough times in business?
I think giving ourselves time is very important. I think working for yourself, there's the freedom of it, but it's also challenging. So giving yourself the time mentally, physically, just to keep that side of things motivated, and also just setting goals for yourself. I think it's very important to always make sure you have goals in place, because that's what's going to keep you motivated. If you've got something to work towards regularly, definitely keeps motivation up.
Thank you so much for your time. Now I will handle it to the other member.
Thank you.
Assalamualaikum everyone. Hope all of you are doing well. My name is Aisha Shahid.
So now I'm going to do some questions from my part. So all we know that every business journey has ups and downs. So I'd like to ask about some challenges you faced. Here are my questions. How do you handle risk and uncertainty in your business decisions?
So, handling risk, I think, definitely would weigh out the pros and cons if we're ever dealing with any sort of risky situation. We'll always kind of write down what we think would work well, what wouldn't work well, and we kind of balance it out in that sense to see if the situation is worth taking the risk for. But yeah, I think as a business, we definitely do take risks. I think it's very important to challenge yourself. Obviously making sure that within that process you're doing the right thing and following the right kind of making the right decisions. So definitely weighing out the pros and cons makes it a lot easier to manage risk.
Okay. My next question is that how do you stay motivated during tough times?
So I think for motivation, we always make sure that we're giving ourselves time, both physically and mentally, because it can be quite a lot running your own business. There's a lot to think about. So we definitely make sure that we give ourselves that time to just take a break, and that definitely keeps us motivated throughout. And also setting goals for ourselves. We always make sure that we've got a goal in place, so we have something to work towards. And if it comes to achieving that goal, then we'll always make sure that we set future goals, and that tends to keep us quite motivated as well.
Okay, thank you, Miriam. Now I'm going to call Zaina to do some questions.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Zaina, and I would really like to know about your challenges and failures. So my question is that have you ever faced failure, and what did you learn from it?
Yes, we actually have. So with doing events, we get invited to do a lot of kind of bigger opportunities within the community. So one event that we ended up doing, this was very early on in the business, it was almost like a food festival event which travels across the UK. So we were given the opportunity to do this. It was very early on in the business. At the time, we had invested a lot of money into the business. Just because we were starting up, we needed to buy new stock, etc. So it was quite an expensive time. We seen this opportunity, we went for it, and it was great. It was a huge learning experience in itself, but we didn't actually get the outcome that we were hoping for, meaning that we made a loss from doing the event, which was quite a big hit so early on in the start of the business. So I think it definitely had its good sides because it put the business name out there. We met loads of new people. Our business got out there, which was great. But I think the financial side of it, we made a few mistakes on. So I think we definitely learned from it. We definitely learned that we shouldn't rush into things. We need to think of things properly, go through everything before we make decisions. So we actually done the event the following year, exact same event, and it was such a great success because we had given ourselves the time. So I think from doing the first one, we definitely learned from that failure and managed to make it successful the next time.
I see. Thank you so much for sharing that. The next question I would like to ask, and I would really like to know, how do you deal with competition in your industry?
So when we first started our business, we were kind of one of the first in the Scotland area. Now, 2 years in, there's lots of other businesses that do the same, who've picked up the same ideas, which can be quite frustrating, especially when you are one of the first and you've worked so hard and you see other people kind of starting up, and not to say you're not happy for them, but it can be very challenging. I think the way that we've managed to get through that is just by sticking to our business aim, our business goals. We just maintain that professionalism that we have, the services we offer. We just make sure that we're always doing that up to our standards. We're not slacking in that, and just offering that exact same service or even better to our clients, rather than letting everyone else's kind of businesses get in the way. So we'll always try new things, put ourselves out there, take risks, regardless of the other businesses around us. And I think that's one of the main ways we do that, is by challenging ourselves to just be better in every way.
Do you have any advice, or what advice would you give to young entrepreneurs facing a fear for failure?
I think Definitely be confident, be positive. If you're experiencing failure, it's not the end of the world, it's not the end of your business. I think it's a learning curve. I think definitely if you're feeling like something's not working out, it's an opportunity to learn from it and grow from it. So never have a negative attitude towards any form of failure. I think the experience in itself just shows growth, and hopefully everything will work out. And I mean, the next time you do something, you'll learn from it, from the past experience, and hopefully you'll gain new skills and new ways of working. So I don't think failure is a bad thing in a business. I think it definitely shows growth, 100%.
That is really insightful. Thank you so much, Mariam. Now I will ask Zainab to ask the next questions.
Thank you.
Hi, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Zainab Naeem, and I would like to ask you the advice for future entrepreneurs. My first question is, what is one piece of advice you would like to give university students who want to start a business?
I would say definitely have a business idea that you know is potentially going to work. I know with business it's hard to pinpoint if it is going to work, if it's not going to work, because you never know. But I think definitely having a positive, a structured business aim, a business idea, and definitely having goals for yourself. I think with business, it's not just, you won't have a successful business in the space of 1 month. So giving yourself the time and giving yourself goals to work towards over the years, and just having that set in your mind from the start almost kind of manifests it for you. And I think it's so important to be really positive about what you're going into, and just motivating yourself to, it is going to work. And I think that is something that just really keeps you going. So definitely having a structured business plan, a good business aim, and a good business goal as well. And really thinking things through before you jump into anything.
Yeah, that is such a good advice. What do you think are the biggest myths about entrepreneurship?
The biggest myth would be that a successful business is a business that you're making loads of money in. I think a lot of people think that when you work for yourself or you have your own business, you're making so much money and it's just so much freedom and it's the easiest thing ever. And don't get me wrong, it's great. I think working for yourself, having that freedom to work when you want is amazing. However, having your own business it takes so much from you. I think you need to invest a lot of your own time into it. A lot of unpaid time as well. When you're working for someone else, you get paid for the hours you're working. However, when you're working for yourself, there's a lot of time that you need to put in, which isn't going to be paid. And, there is times where you feel like giving up because it's so much work that you're putting in, but in the end, it's always worth it. So, I would say the biggest myth is your business is going to be successful in the space of, 3 months, or you're going to make profit in the space of 3 months. It definitely takes time to build a business and to get to that point. So I think a lot of people shouldn't be fooled by that. Definitely takes a lot of time.
All right, my last question is, how do you define success as an entrepreneur?
I would say success is building something to the point where you're happy with it. I think a lot of people think success and also think money, which definitely is part of success. But I think having a business that is working well, having a business that people, are aware of, you've got regular clients, you've got that support around you. I think that shows success in a business. And I think one of the biggest things we noticed is when we're doing bookings for clients, we tend to get a lot of feedback, and a lot of that feedback has been very positive for us. And word gets around. A lot of people have come to us, approached us and said, we've heard your name from so-and-so. And to me, that's the biggest success, is the fact that we were able to build something that people value and people love. And it is services that they would use in future. So that, as well as, the financial side of it, I think both kind of make a successful business.
All right, thank you so very much for your interview.
That's okay, no problem.
Okay, so this interview was conducted by Fatima Zafar, Sana Toki, Aisha Shahid, Zaina Kamran, and Zainab Naeem. Thank you so much for your time, Mariam, and we all wish you great success in your business.
Thank you.
Okay, so this interview was conducted by Fatima Zafar, Sana Toki, Aisha Shahid, Zaina Kamran, and Zainab Naeem. Thank you so much for your time, Mariam, and we all wish you great success in your business.
Thank you.